Let's do Inter Milan Barcelona. Who's your favorite? You're a Barca guy, but you need to be honest.
No,
who's winning that tie, and who's your favorite to win the Champions League?
I can't call the Inter Barcelona game. I think it's the hardest of the ties because of the two coaches in question, Simeone and Flick. And Inter have a very, very disciplined team. Very, very disciplined team in possession, out of possession, and they have different types of players who can hurt you in different ways. Barcelona play really, really high. Barcelona like to press high, win when they lose the ball, and Inter too like to sit deep too, and they can hit you when they need to hit you. So it's going to be a really tight game. I can't really call that one. I feel like that game will just be edged with individual talent, like
slim margins.
Yeah, slim margins. Like somebody who have to like
pull out something.
I feel like Barca stand a better chance if we have a fit Olmo, because Olmo is a player who can help against teams who can sit like Inter. But if no Olmo, it's going to be really, really hard to break this Inter team down because they don't concede a lot of goals too.
So, quick question: are you worried about Barca following that defeat to Dortmund?
No.
How so?
They've had a lot of games. I think they're a bit tired. And they lost a game that doesn't matter in a way. Like they got away with it.
It doesn't worry you going into a tie against Inter?
I think everyone knows the Inter game is going to be hard. Even if they are full strength. Inter are not a team that you can play easily. Remember when the Champions League final was happening a few years ago? Everyone thought that Inter would lie down when they played Man City.
Is this their third semi in a year in running Inter Milan?
No.
So they went to the final.
They went to the final. Then they went out, I think, round of 16, and then now they are back in the semi. So if you remember what happened before that final, everyone saw that Man City will win 3-0, 4-0. And look at the game they played. They put up a very good fight.
They should have won that game. They wasted their chances.
If Lukaku had a better game, maybe Inter win the Champions League. So for me, they are not a team you can take lightly in any situation. They are very well coached. Inzaghi knows his team well. He likes to rotate. He has different ways of playing. And the thing is, when they change players, there's not that much difference.
Of a drop off,
You see that this player comes in, they know what they are doing. There's an idea.
They have quality, actually. They have a lot of quality.
And you see, they are disciplined. They are disciplined of the ball.
They're the opposite of some of the teams you talk about. They don't do projects and buying one player and hoping will be good later. They buy experienced players that they know are good. And they don't do that. We are hoping that we'll sell you for more later. They don't care about that.
Come and perform now.
Whatever happens, So look, they are a very good team, very experienced team, a very tactically astute coach. If Barca had a less experienced coach than Hansi Flick, I'd say Inzaghi all the way, because that's the same reason I had them beaten Bayern. I didn't remember before the Bayern clash. I said, look, I wasn't worried about Bayern. Bayern did impress me, don't get me wrong, but I felt like that experience gap between Kompany and Inzaghi would be key, because Inzaghi is a very wily coach. If you remember, the year they even got to the final, they were in a group with Barca and Bayern, and everyone saw that they will finish third comfortably, that there's no way they get out of the group. But they sent Barca to the Europa League.
They took Barca to the Europa League.
So look,
it's a 3-5-2 Inter Milan.
So you can never count out Simone Inzaghi. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. Very intelligent coach, and he knows, and he plans for games. He games plans for teams. He knows what Barca are going to try and do. He's very aware. Let's see if his plan works. But my issue with Inter is Thuram and Lautaro. They are very good strikers, but they are very inconsistent in terms of their finishing. They can do everything right, but in front of goal, once in a while, they can forget what to do. So that's a worry for me. Lewandowski is having that period right now. I think Lewandowski is not the player he used to be, but I trust Lewandowski with a chance more than those two, and I think that could be the difference in the end. So for me, I'll say Barca, because Barca will definitely create chances. It's a question of if they will take them, but it's not going to be an easy game. If Barca blow them away, home and away, I'll be very surprised. But if they do that, I think that the Champions League is in the bag, because that's a statement that puts fear in the mind of the next person they are playing. So if they blow them home and away, just clear, I think they are favorites, but I don't expect that to happen at all.
Coach,
it will come down to whether Barcelona will utilize their chances. I've always said that. I don't see any team bossing them. I don't see anything creating more chances than them, and therefore it will come down over two legs, whether they will utilize their chances. Look, if you watch the game between Inter and Bayern Munich, I accept that Inter were tactically brilliant, but on the grounds of chances created, I think Bayern should have knocked out Inter Milan. And Harry Kane in that first leg was very wasteful. The Bayern team again in this second leg, they showed a bit more anxiety in the box. Anytime they played through Inter and they got into the box, that clear final pass was missing. That is one thing that you will get out of Yamin, you get out of Rafinha, you get out of Pedri, you get out of the boy, that very workaholic midfield boy. You see, the Barcelona front line, watch them. When they get into the box, that is when they are most composed, relaxed, and then they go and punish. Inter, that back line, back three transition to a back five, will have to play their best football ever to knock out Barcelona over 2 legs. Don't forget the two teams, the last time they met at this stage, Inter knocked out Barcelona under Jose. When Jose was there, our own Sulemuntari co were very integral in that.
Diego
Milito, Samuel Eto'o, and that.
That's a long time ago.
So Barcelona, I will tell you for a fact that they've always been waiting for such an opportunity to give it back to Inter. I don't know where the first leg will be played.
It's in Catalonia.
So Barca plays home first, and then unlike then, Barca went away first, and Inter came. Look, Nketia, Inter will have to be very, very efficient. They may get their chances. They will have to punish. Barca will create more. Maybe as twice as Inter.
Inter don't create a lot of chances.
They don't create a lot of chances.
And when they create, they're not clinical.
So you see, on the face of that, on the face of that, I'm leaning more towards
Barca.
Although Inter has considered the least number of goals.
But Bayern kind of exposed them.
Yeah, we saw that.
Because before that, I think they had considered 4 goals, and Bayern scored 3.
Yeah, so like I said, if Bayern were very, very clinical with their chance, they would have knocked them out.
Let's talk about PSG Arsenal, because that's a huge game, and Arsenal will be missing Partey. I think that card he picked up was completely needless.
And Rice was furious with him when he picked. Rice was completely furious with him when he picked
the card was very needless.
Because if he had avoided that, would have
now
fresh.
Now they have a huge hole in that middle of the park against perhaps the most relentless team in the competition.
You see, I don't see this PSG team to be that relentless in my view. Look, Villa were very naive.
I think they took their leg off the gas when they went 2-up against Villa. They thought the tie was done.
Even in that first leg, you remember I said that that third goal that Villa conceded in the 97th minute. That is what is going to knock them out. I think if Villa had taken a slim lead to Villa Park, Villa would have. And look, at 3-2, look at the chance that Asensio missed.
Even Konsa,
header. So
but coach, how do you navigate a game without Partey when Odegaard is also playing he's playing as poorly as I've ever seen him play?
I think that is one thing that Arteta, because the game is 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now, Mikel Arteta will have to formulate a way to play without Partey. I think Arsenal are playing home first.
Home first.
So maybe because they are at home first, that is where Partey will be missing. They may not feel his absence because it is at the Emirates. The crowd will be buzzing. Everybody will be in the mood. And at this stage, I trust Mikel Arteta. He's shown me good signs to trust him in the Champions League, where his understanding of the game is such that, look, tactically, they have to be very, very. You have to respect your opponent and not open up yourself to be punished. Partey will come back in that second leg. And I think that is where the tide will be decided. The naivety and the inexperience that Villa showed in that first leg.
You don't think Arsenal are way more solid?
When Arsenal's already beaten them this season.
Yeah.
And they beat them, I think, in France. I stand to be corrected.
I'll check that for you.
Check that for me. In the group stages where they had that, Arsenal played them earlier and beat them. And I think that defeat was in France. You can check that for me. So therefore, Arsenal clearly, I've heard people say that PSG is very. Even Bukayo Saka admitted to it that the PSG they defeated is very different from the one now. Clearly so, and that is clear for everybody to see. But I still do believe that over 2 legs. Look, I'm a Ghanaian. Tactically, I think Arsenal defensively are better. And I think moving for PSG, have Dembele and those people.
It's PSG's forward line
forward
that
line.
worries me.
That
Okay,
against
so
Arsenal.
2024-2025 Champions League phase, Emirates Stadium, October 1, 2024.
It was at
2-0.
2-0.
Kai
Arsenal beat
Havertz,
them 2-0.
Kai Havertz and Saka.
So they know exactly what they'll be facing, and I believe that over 2 legs.
So I'm
leaning towards Arsenal.
so what kind of final are you looking? You're looking at an Arsenal
I'm
Barca
looking
final.
at a repetition of
The 06 final.
2006.
What kind of
And
final?
this
are you
time
looking-
around, if that were to happen, I will lean more towards history. You know my stand on Barcelona. I love them. I want them to win it. But if Partey were to take and get Arsenal to the final,
You think you'd
I'll be
want-
more of a Ghanaian on that day.
I have to say for the PSG Arsenal game, I think it depends on the first leg.
Okay.
I know so Partey is not there. They are playing at the Emirates.
Yeah.
I feel like if Arsenal don't win the first leg, I don't see them going through. I think they have to win. And then like
Any form of win.
any form of win, because I think Arsenal are smart enough to control the game, pick their moments on the counter. They are solid defensively, which is what I've always said about them, that conceding goals, they
Yeah.
don't do it that a lot.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes their chance creation is not there, but they don't concede.
Charlie, it
That's
just
the
reminded me of the goal Real Madrid scored. Charlie, the only goal they scored in 2
And
legs.
see, they didn't even create any.
Real Madrid shout.
If you think about it, the only chance they created was that Mbappe chance at the beginning of the tie.
No, there was a ball that Bellingham played
Across the face,
and he was furious. Nobody attacked him.
Yeah, all he needed was a tap in.
But yeah, it's
The
bad.
other two was running around.
Pasaka did that twice, so that one negated.
Yeah,
Negated
Saka also
ball.
played the ball.
So the only chance they created was that one Mbappe chance that he spotted. And that was it.
was a giveaway.
But that's something. That's the one chance they really got, and they.
And the goal they eventually scored.
Yeah.
If Raya had given
The ball out.
Saliba the chance,
And Saliba,
Mbappe was
yeah.
coming, he would have given it back to him for him to.
Exactly.
Just kept quiet.
So they didn't create anything, and generally teams find it hard to create against them. Their problem is rather that they can't break teams down sometimes.
Yeah.
So for me, if they get a win,
And PSG are not a low block team. They struggle against low block teams.
yeah,
PSG are very
so
as adventurous
if
as it
Arsenal
gets.
do what they did against Real Madrid, they kind of sit in, constrict their space. You know,
They have
but
a chance.
They have. It's going to be very difficult for PSG because the same issues that we're talking about Real Madrid. No one attacks the box.
Yeah.
Dembele is not going to attack the box that way.
He will not win any ball there if he attacks.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He can't, even if they put the ball across like that type of thing, he's not the type to attack. So he's a ball to feet, pick up the ball, kind of drive at the defense, open up some space and shoot.
Yeah, he needs space.
He makes his own. He doesn't attack loose balls like that. So for me, when I look at the way PSG play, the fact they like to dribble, attack the space, push teams back. If Arsenal decide to sit back, and you are basically hitting a wall, I don't see them creating chance. So Arsenal need to win the first leg. If they don't win the first leg, I think that they are a slight disadvantage in the second leg, and PSG are more likely to go through. So for me, Arsenal just win the first leg,
And you are
I
favourites to
think
go
they're in a very good position. So I'll say it depends on their first leg for sure.